welcome to Luigi's Kitchen.
And my name is Mario.
And my name is Jan Ben. And apparently we're learning to make the perfect braaibroodjie tonight.
Yes, we're going to teach you how to make the perfect, magnificent braaibroodjie.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so first we start with the bread.
Yes, that seems like a good idea.
Bread is in my left hand, now my right hand. You've got to feel the bread, feel it. You got to be one with the bread.
You learn something new every time.
And then the cheese, lots and lots of cheese. Not the tuna yet, not the tuna.
So, but there apparently is going to be tuna on this braaibroodjie as well.
And you taste the cheese.
So you taste the cheese.
Good cheese, good
Looks
cheese.
lekker. Sure, okay.
We're going to put the bread down, put the cheese on the bread.
Okay, so you taste the cheese and then you put the cheese on the bread. Okay, that sounds good.
You spread the cheese.
Okay, and maybe some
cheese out.
Maybe some tomato.
And then some of the tomato.
Oh,
no, 2 tomatoes, 2.
That's, yeah, good. Lekker.
On the bread, not on the board, on the bread. And then some tuna.
Some tuna. Okay, okay. Maybe this is why my braaibroodjies are never as nice.
You must smell the...
Sure.
Really feel the tuna.
That is a lot of tuna, I'll be honest.
Tuna protein, good.
Okay, so it's all about the protein. You have to think about those
and
things.
then the sauce, tomato sauce.
So lekker tomatiesaus, altyd 'n goeie idee. Good.
Oh,
okay.
Lots of tomato sauce.
Didn't expect that. That's
okay.
That's
now some of the mustard.
Mustard. Okay.
Some of the mustard.
All right. So I see there's
that one.
I see there's chocolate spread here as well. So I mean,
always chocolate spread at the end. Lots of mustard. Go.
Sure.
More mustard. Go.
Guys, I mean, if you're like me, you definitely haven't made it this way. But I mean, it looks interesting.
Now we put the one bread on top of the other bread.
Okay. Sure.
Oh yes, you've got to really feel the bread.
Sure, okay. That's
and now
good.
for the turkey.
The what?
The turkey.
What is the turkey? Oh, the turkey.
Not the tuna, the turkey.
Okay. Or I think we can leave the turkey for tonight. Maybe. Okay, no, all right. We've got the turkey.
Okay.
Sure. All right. So the turkey's on the outside. I mean, maybe
another slice. Last slice of turkey.
Okay, another slice.
And now for the chocolate spread. This is my favorite part.
Okay. Guys, I mean, I didn't know this
struggling
chocolate spread.
Could you help me? I'm sorry. No, never mind. I found it.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Ooh, chocolate spread.
Okay.
The
All
best.
right. So, do you smell
the chocolate spread?
Brilliant. Okay. And then that goes on top.
On the turkey. Yes.
Okay. So I mean, I think a simple question that our viewers might be asking is: there's no fire here, so I mean, how are we making a braaibroodjie?
No, it's not the Italian way.
Okay. So Italians made the braaibroodjie. That's interesting.
On top, the bread on top, and now we taste.
Okay, that's sure. This looks like a.
But you, Jan Ben, are my guest this evening.
Okay.
So you are going to taste.
So I'm tasting. Okay, great. Can I take it or?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
For COVID reasons, I'm not going to taste this. Smells delicious.
It's a lot of dry bread.
It's delicious. Magnifique.
All right. Okay. Mario, thank you so much for teaching us about the perfect braaibroodjie. Definitely, I learned a lot of things. I don't know about you. So, welcome, guys, to SNL tonight. We have an interesting conversation lined up for you guys just about food and how to look at it, not just as something to enjoy, but also understanding the value of it, the nutrients and things. So, I mean, I think we're heading on over to some guests we have in the live lounge. At some point.
Well, good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Live. It's so good to have you with us this evening. We're all crying, laughing at that. Oh my goodness.
Yes. I don't know if it translated well on the screen, but it just flippin' hilarious here in the studio.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So we have some incredible guests with us this evening. To my left, I have Caitlin, aka Bravery Bakes. So you're a qualified pastry chef.
I am,
and you
yes.
make delicious food that is just on another level.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say. Sean, welcome. You might recognize Sean. He's back again.
Yeah.
And you are, I called you a food enthusiast, but you are a...
Yeah, you can call me a foodie enthusiast, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enthusiastic about food.
I love that, yes. And then we have Kevin, who's actually going to be on the panel tonight because...
Yeah,
I
what
think,
a difference.
Yeah, I think Kevin is probably one of the best cooks that I've ever met. Your food
I
is
can vouch
on
for
another
that.
level.
I could vouch for
So
that.
I'd say like
Okay.
we need some insight. So we're going to be talking about food this evening. So why don't you let us know where you're watching from? We already have a couple of people that have joined us online. Let us know where you're watching from and what kind of questions you might have about food. So to kick off though, I want to know who has a funny fail food moment. So maybe it's delivering a cake that went like splat somewhere down the line while you were driving it, or I don't know, funny food fails.
I have many, but I will call it a fail because I value my daughter's input into my food creations.
That's good.
So,
That's good.
So I'll be spending hours and hours in the kitchen making this beautiful dish, and then I'll give it to my daughters, and Eliana, the small one, will come in and say, "Dad, I love you, but it doesn't taste nice."
Oh.
At least she's
So
brutally
you've got
honest.
tough critics, hey? So they're actually like, well...
But, I mean, tough critics make a better cook, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know.
I just have the great cake fiasco.
Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be a cake story somewhere.
So I was delivering this 3-tier wedding cake that was probably like, you know, from this like up to here.
Okay.
And I'm 6 minutes away from the venue. 6 minutes, so I can like taste freedom.
yeah, I see it.
Okay. And did you taste the cake?
Almost. So the guy in front of me is in an accident. So 3-tier wedding cake. So I slam on my brakes.
Oh, my
so I'm not
days.
in the
Oh, no.
accident. And 3-tier wedding cake everywhere, and I'm in
dear.
tears
Oh,
because I
man.
spent like a good 2 days, you know, making this cake beautiful.
Oh, my word, yes.
And so I'm distraught, and I like get out. I'm like, okay, phone my best friend. I'm like, Ingrid, I'm coming to your house. We're fixing a cake.
And did you do it?
I get there, I'm covered in cake, and I'm in tears. And like eventually we like managed to put it together, but it had like a lean. So this cake had a
leaning
lean.
tower
It
of
really
cake.
did.
Yeah.
It really
Cool.
did.
A
It
good
really
pass.
did. So we like propped the base up with like plates to like compensate for the lean. So at least they've still ordered from me since their wedding.
That's good.
Because it tasted amazing.
There you go.
It looked a
The
little.
proof is in the pudding.
Exactly.
You could have
As
called it
so they say.
deconstructed cake.
Yeah.
I highly doubt the bride would have loved that though.
Yeah, at least it wasn't a bridezilla though.
No,
Like it
no,
could have been a lot
luckily.
worse. I
Luckily
mean,
not.
I've
There you
heard
go.
things.
So I figured out that I cannot bake. So lockdown has shown me that I cannot bake. So
Did you did the whole baking thing during lockdown?
The sourdough?
But so years ago, I tried sourdough. So I had the starter going, and it was like bubbly and smelt yummy. And then I made the thing, you know, took 24 hours to this and blah, 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 and then fold and proof
a long
and next thing,
It's
put it in the oven. And man, I pulled out a tasty, tasty doorstop. It didn't rise at all. And it was just a solid thing of like just baked dough.
Stodgy. Like,
It wasn't
Oh, wow.
stodgy, it was solid and heavy as anything. So it would have made a great doorstop.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wowzers.
I didn't
Yeah.
even bother putting it in the dustbin because I knew it would go straight through
Straight to the bottom,
bag.
yeah.
So I just took it straight up to the wheelie bin. So.
Yeah, I'm not much of a cook, so I'm just sitting here so that I can glean from you guys and, you know, like learn and that sort of thing. I love Warren also has a funny one. He said, I once put curry powder in a meal at the end of cooking it. It turns out there were bugs in it.
Oh no.
Ew.
Sorry, Warren.
That does sound pretty gross. If you're watching and you also have a funny one, why don't you share it with us because it's good to laugh together.
Yes.
But maybe we could kick off with a bit of a different question. So I'd love to know from you guys, what does food mean to you? Surprise question. I know you never saw that coming, right?
What?
Yeah, I
We
know.
didn't know this at all. We didn't have to prepare it or anything. So, food for me is love made tangible.
Nice.
I know it's very deep.
Love
Very,
made
very deep.
tangible.
So
Or
it's
tasteable.
yes, or tasteable. So it's not just, you know, here's something, you know. It's for me. It combines like all the love languages. There's time. There's gifts. There's acts of service.
Sure.
I'm convinced they should put an extra food love language in there.
Taste could be a love language.
Food would be my
Exactly.
love language.
Right?
Like, oh my goodness,
Right?
I'd be like, yes, please.
Right? So like food is special, and it's like a lot of people, like when you first know me, trust me, I probably baked something for you. You know, whether it's like a
You
birthday
made me a cake, and it was so good.
You know, so
Carrot
for me,
cake.
I think it was a hummingbird actually.
Yes, and a carrot though. That so good.
Yeah. So.
Okay, for me, I think food is evolving. So what it started off for me at the beginning of my trying to get food out
Yeah.
there to feed myself. It was just about surviving.
That is important.
2 minute noodles and toast. Bring it on.
And then as I got more interested in the taste of food, I started doing a little bit more. But now food is, for me, is a vehicle. It brings people together. So the food is a vehicle of getting the conversation happening.
Yeah.
It's just chatting, and you end up with such a
Love that.
different atmosphere when food is around.
Totally.
So for me, it's a vehicle now to start things and to get things going. Yeah.
So food for me would be community. So I actually don't like cooking. So the
Just so
the
good at it,
process of
Kim.
it and just having to do it.
Yeah.
So and deciding on what to eat is such a mission.
Yes.
And then you got to go through the whole thing, and then you want a great meal, and then you realize, like, hey, 7 hours later, I'll put something on the table.
Yeah.
But what food means at the
Yeah.
end of the day is there's community around a
Exactly.
table.
Yes.
That it is one of those things of gifts where you are
Exactly,
able
yeah.
to give to people something that they necessarily can't buy.
Yeah.
I know you can go out to a restaurant and you can buy a meal, and you can do that as community, which is cool. But yeah, it's so much better in your home when you
Yes.
can create community. You can create
Exactly,
a
yeah.
bond over a meal,
Yeah.
and just how people experience
Yes, it's very different.
hospitality.
Yeah.
It's giving a little bit of yourself.
Yeah, you kind of give. This is kind of our house to
That's
you.
it.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with fresh ideas for food, like planning a menu in the week? I'm not one of those people. Some nights I'm just like, well, I think I'll just have toast and go to bed, and I'm fine. But how do you keep the inspiration? Maybe how do you do it on a budget so you're not spending too much money on food, but you're still being like wise? I don't know, Sean, I feel like you've got something.
Well, to be honest, during the week, it's what do we have in the fridge? Let's get it in the oven and out. But when you're planning something, a lot of the times it's who you're cooking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know that. You got to know what they like. The person that pushes me the most, though, is my wife, because if she tastes something and she loves it, I'm
gotta
out there
keep
trying
making it.
to get it better.
Yeah.
So whatever she says she likes, I'm doing it. Or if my daughters say they love this, then I'm trying it and I'm trying to make it even better. So yeah, so planning menus and stuff, my wife and my daughters push me the most, and that's what what I enjoy doing.
So we feed a family of 4, and we've continually minimized our budget, our food budget. And so one of the ways we've done that is buying meat in bulk from local meat suppliers.
Okay.
So you're not paying the full retail price. And then we have looked at local kind of like small business, green grocer suppliers, instead of just buying pre-packaged things from
yeah.
the supermarket.
Yeah.
So you land up getting slightly bigger portions, and then you have to get really creative. So there's two elements to this. There's the element that we've when your bank account shrinks, you've got to make a plan with
course.
food,
Yeah.
because you have to eat to stay alive. But then there's those people that, like, I live to eat. I live to eat.
Food is
Yeah.
I don't need to live. I live to eat the food. But then on the other side is when you're hosting somebody, go all out.
Yeah.
And when you go all out and there's leftovers, people, it's such a great picture of the gospel.
Of course.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
Jesus
good,
went
yeah.
all in.
That's right.
When he broke bread, there was 12 baskets left
That's
over.
it.
Yeah.
And so when we host people, we should go all out.
Yeah.
And that's
Should be leftovers.
I agree.
But in the week,
Yeah.
we've got to be wise and steward what we've bought.
Yeah.
And so use if you're not going to use that piece of meat or that the fat on the meat, well, buy the meat without the fat.
Yeah.
Or if it calls for like 1 leaf of spinach, don't buy the whole bag. Just leave the spinach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sean, I mean, you spoke a little bit about responsible sourcing and that sort of thing, and that's changed your weekly meal. So maybe tell us a little bit, like, how could we maybe source food? So, Kev, you've just said, like, find local suppliers, support local.
Yeah.
That's a really important thing. But responsible sourcing, that sort of thing.
So we watched we watched some documentaries in the last week, and we love meat. We love to eat, right? And then
Vegans and vegetarians, sorry.
so yes, it's actually about going vegan and having more vegetables. And the documentary spoke about how animals are treated, and then you look at that and you wonder, how can I be more responsible? So from our personal point of view, we said, okay, let's try not to eat meat as much. Maybe we can eat meat maybe twice a week instead of 5 days a week. And I think with that in mind, I think being more responsible in not just eating whatever you feel like whenever you feel like, being more have more restraint on your menu, and it also helps your budget. It helps the environment. So I think for us as a family, putting more vegetables in our menu through the week, that's how we are trying to give back into the community and not being irresponsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We've got some funny comments coming in. Just Warren saying, wise words, Kevin. He definitely wants to, you have to eat to stay alive.
Yes.
So profound, I should get a tattoo of that. Definitely think that's a winning idea.
Carry on,
Rebecca
Warren,
is
carry
willing to
on.
pay for it, so that's great. Hey, if you're watching at home, please let us know if you have a question. We'd love to answer some of your questions as well around food, community. I think it's really cool when we start talking about food and how it brings people together and how we can build community. What about you, Kate? What would you say?
So I'm lucky. I just have one person that I need to feed generally, and especially now
Is
that
it you or are you feeding someone
No,
else?
it's just me.
Okay, just checking.
So especially like during lockdown, I'm not, like I love having people around. It's my favorite thing. So, but
During lockdown? Oh.
No. I'm doing previously, before
Uncle Cyril is watching.
pre-corona. Sorry, Uncle Cyril.
Uncle Cyril.
Is that so it's just planning for what I like to eat. So I sit on a Sunday night normally, and I bring out my stacks of recipe books, and I'm like, oh, this looks nice, and this will keep. So like I'll normally make something that will be for like it will be 3 meals. So then I'll space it out. So
I'm the same, like make one, freeze 2.
Exactly.
Okay, we're good.
Exactly. And then like planning that through. But the same, so I've made a lot of great relationships with various farmers. So I get like free pomegranates and like free like
Oh, that's nice.
right? So you get
Sounds
like free
good.
things, and then like you're like, oh, best. So I'm gonna make a delicious like I don't know pomegranate and kale salad.
Sure.
I
I wish
like,
you could have people over. I'm like,
right? So just being more, having that one-on-one relationship with farmers has been like a blessing to me, because then often you get the kind of ugly vegetables, the ones that they can't really sell.
But they still taste the
They
same.
taste the same,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know.
So I remember there was a whole big thing a few years ago about ugly fruit and veg, and why we have a food shortage problem is because people aren't wanting to eat the ugly fruit and veg.
Pick the ugly fruit and veg as well, people. Come on.
Ugly fruit and veg are people
Like,
too.
come
They look the
on,
same when
yeah.
it goes down.
Exactly.
Hey?
Let's
They
do
come out
that.
the same way.
I love Mel
that
saying
took a turn.
we grow lots of stuff in our garden.
Yeah.
While my folks grow it, we eat it. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Connections.
No, that's our garden.
He's like, so, yeah, your garden,
Yeah.
same garden, right?
Same
Just
garden.
yeah, okay.
Same garden, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think also just to ask you, like you say you do live alone, but you love cooking and that sort of thing. Do you still like now maybe like drop off goods at people's houses because you can't see them? Is food still a thing where you could connect with people
Yeah.
or not? I mean,
Yeah.
out of lockdown, I don't know if that's changed at all or not.
Yeah. So I mean, food is literally my life.
Food is life.
So
That's what we
it's
think.
a combination of a job and a passion, which I'm very grateful for. So there were a few times when I was just feeling like, oh, should I still bake, for a living? And so I just started making a whole lot of things. And then as a result, I ended up having a whole lot of sweet things at home. And I was like, hey, let's actually use this. So I'd be like, hey, I don't know, Bob.
Bob, great
Do you
guy.
know Bob?
Do you actually know Bob? Or Robert. Or, I'd be like, hey, can I come around and just drop it off? Like I'd leave it like at the gate and be like, I love you, stay safe, and like run away. but like it's still, you know, and then they'd like, oh, you know, thank you so much for gifting us, you know, with that,
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
you
awesome.
know. So it is still, you know.
So Warren does actually have a question in and around baking. He says, how do I start baking? It seems a little bit overwhelming
It really
to
is.
not just buy muffin mix.
So
yeah, I don't know what that's-
start small, and firstly, baking is a science. It is
Totally.
really a science. Like with other food, and I love the fact that other food is not like this. But
Yeah.
with other food, you can be like, oh, I'm just going to do a sprinkle of this or like a heap of that, and it can still turn out okay. If you put like a tablespoon versus a teaspoon, it's not. It's going to make a huge
You'll know it.
difference.
And that's
So-
why I baked a doorstop.
Exactly.
And you have to know the difference between a tablespoon and a teaspoon.
Yes. Yeah, so it's all about the process. So finding like decent recipes, you know, and
Yes,
you're being like,
decent
okay, cool.
recipes, yeah.
Step 1, paddle the butter, and then you paddle the butter. You know, so it's not like
Whatever that is. Just
It's a
paddle that
machine.
back.
Paddle it a bit.
Yeah, just paddle it a little bit. So just kind of like off the back of that, would you guys say that you have a good relationship with food? I think a lot of the time, I don't know, maybe you're watching, and I think some of us can struggle with our relationship to food.
Yep.
So, you know, we overeat or we undereat or we eat a bowl of pasta and think, oh my goodness, like this is just going to be death to my body. And there's so many different theories of like paleo is this, keto is that, that I think it does influence our relationship with food.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd say, do you have a healthy relationship, or how can we foster a healthier relationship with food?
Sure. Well, so the one consistent thing I've heard from just a variety of people, and those in food, those out of food, those in the medical industry, is balanced diet. So I don't think that life can be balanced all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But too much fat and no carbs can't be that good for you at an extended period of time. And all carbs and no protein, and you know.
Yeah.
So a good balanced diet, I would say, is helpful. My relationship with food is I love tasty food, and I'll just keep eating because it tastes good. And what I'm now kind of trying to learn is to not overeat and go to and like then go, oh.
Yeah.
But that's not 3 meals a day that I'm feeling like, boo, you know. And it's not 5 out of, or 7 out of 7 meals in a week, or evening meals that I'm like, whoa. You know, and I'm married to somebody from a completely different food culture. So in Brazil, they eat a big lunch and then they kind of snack for dinner.
Yeah.
So we've even adjusted in our household to kind of, we've got to have food, because I come from a family that pretty much we would just breeze straight past lunch.
Yeah.
'Cause do we have time in the day to even, you know, think about a sandwich here or eat whatever on the road?
Yeah.
So we've even started thinking around healthier lunches, more vegetables, a lot less protein or meat in the meals. I don't know if I have a healthy relationship, but I think we're figuring it out. I really like pasta and bread.
I really like
I
pasta
really
too.
like pasta and bread. It's so good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys.
With me, I think if you look at how God created us, He created us to enjoy food,
Yeah.
but responsibly. If you look in the Bible, there's no way where you would think they ate till they pigged out. There was no pigging out. They enjoyed food, but they enjoyed it for a reason as well. They enjoyed it so they could have company, they could talk, and Jesus was in the center of most of the discussions.
Yeah.
So it's I think for me, I'm learning that as well. Is that I love food, and sometimes I can eat a lot.
Yeah, and you
But-
just keep eating because it tastes good.
It's so good.
You see, I've got this pimple because I ate a lot of chocolates this week. A lot of chocolates. So
It's evident.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess it's just being responsible, and if those around you can also eat well and eat a balanced diet, it tends to rub off on you as well. So I'm trying to be responsible, so my girls can eat better, my wife and family, all of us can eat better. So I think it's just balance. It's not pigging out all the time or
Yeah.
eating too many chocolates all the time. You know, you can have it, but
Yeah. Lots
Not
of sugar is
excessive.
obviously
Yeah.
not good for you, and
it.
only carbs, bread and pasta and more bread and other carbs
Yeah.
that I don't know about. You don't just
All of
go on
those
those, and then if you're balling, then you can eat an all meat diet. Go for it.
I feel so heavy.
But vegetables can be good. They can be made to be super tasty.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can find it. And then there's times where
Yeah.
pasta and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is great.
And I
Yeah.
think bodies respond differently to food.
yes,
And I think that's like
100%.
a really interesting, like I had to learn that actually, like what I put into my body is different to, and my body will respond in a different way.
Yeah.
But as we are also, I suppose, like aware of those little things, it
Yeah.
does help. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, now I can.
Yeah.
That I want to actually ask you, like we've been speaking about like gospel and we've been speaking about Jesus and he shares meals. And I know you told me about a book that you read, which actually like looks at Jesus and how often you read like Jesus was sharing a meal with so and so,
Yeah.
right? So maybe tell us a little bit about that.
So it's one of my favorite books, and I reread 100 times a year. It's called A Meal with Jesus by Tim Chester. You can get it on Kindle. I sound like an advert. You can get it on Kindle or bookstores.
She's not getting royalties for this.
Unfortunately. But what I love about it is it covers pretty much everything we've talked about and more. So it talks about, if you look at the gospel of Jesus, is he's either at a meal, going to a meal, or coming from a meal.
Yeah.
So a large part of like that is like what Kevin was saying about it's building community, and I really do believe that something spiritual happens when you sit down with someone and break bread. It's more than just sustenance. It shifts. And I think it also softens people's hearts.
Totally. I found that a good meal kind of drops the walls between people,
Exactly,
yeah.
opens them up,
100%.
and a well-placed question
Yeah.
as they put a mouthful of food in.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's the worst. We always ask questions as they're like, what? But then they've got time to chew over their answer.
Exactly.
See what I did
Yeah.
there?
Yeah,
So
I
then
did see
just
it.
off the back of that, so how would you encourage people now? We have small groups and, we have coffee and communion coming up this week for First Wednesday. And we're going to talk a little bit about fasting in a moment. So I know Jordan did ask a question. So George, we're going to get to your question. But how do we, in this time, if we can't be in each other's homes or, be building community like that, like how would you guys suggest that we tackle that in this season with food and...
Okay, cool one would be is now if it's just you or just you and your spouse and or your family and you can't meet with other people and you can't have them over, now's the time to practice, get a good repertoire of meals going.
Yeah.
So that when we are able to, because we will be able to meet in each other's homes, we will be able to share meals again. We will be able to.
Yeah.
And now's the time to get those healthy rhythms in of eating healthy,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
responsible sourcing, and then practice making tasty meals.
Easy.
And then when
Yeah, that's good.
and then you've refined it, and you haven't had to overspend.
Yeah.
You haven't had to get that 3 kilo leg of lamb. Which can cost a bit. You just get a little one, and
Can
then
I
you
just have the
practice
little
with-
lamb,
Yeah,
please?
and then you practice with that or whatever, and then you've got this great repertoire of meals that you can then host a whole bunch of different people over a
good.
whole bunch of different nights. Because now I can cook tacos tonight, and I can do a lasagna on that night, and I can do whatever there, and different people create different
Yeah.
community, different bonds with different
that's
people.
good.
So that's the solution to lockdown cooking.
You know what we did this week?
Tell me.
This Friday. And
Oh, yeah, we saw.
So
I didn't see, but I heard.
This is a brilliant idea, though. So we're on this marriage course that we go on every Friday, and it's online because we can't meet together. So
I mean, with the other people.
with
Hopefully,
other
you and your wife.
My wife and I are there. yes.
Mel, yeah.
So we this week was date night, right?
Nice.
So everyone that's part of the group, we had to create our own little restaurant type area
Cool.
or picnic or whatever, and we had to cook our nice menu that we would share as a couple, and then we all just shared what we made, and we shared pictures and videos while we were at the course. So
And you were the winner.
no.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sean, like,
never
from what
about
I
the
saw, like,
competition.
hands down.
It wasn't a competition, but you won.
But it was beautiful. I mean, that's like, that's a good, we
Yeah.
are building community,
Yeah.
although we won together. Everyone's still connected with a central point, which was food and
Yeah.
spending time with their spouses.
I've heard
So-
of people cooking the same meal and sitting down over a Zoom
Zoom.
call or a
Yes,
Google
yeah.
Meet, and they're all eating the same meal. I mean, it's obviously cooked differently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a way
that's an
to
idea.
Create
yeah.
a bond.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I've done a range of like virtual like dinners with friends.
Yeah.
So I've been like, hey, I'm cooking some pasta tonight. Let's meet on Skype or whatever at like 7:00. And then we eat
Virtual dinners.
Yeah, virtual dinners. And then it's great because
I like
then you
it.
can like your top half can be dressed and your bottom half can just be in pajamas.
Okay. So the food is not
Yeah,
virtual, right?
party on the top.
Well, I mean, why not just go in your
food, yeah.
pajamas?
And I think even so, like for me, like I just sometimes like I'll put on some jazz music. It's me at home alone, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna just enjoy this meal and be thankful for
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
And like like sometimes it is a bowl of pasta or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. But in those moments, I'm like, man, this is so good. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for it. And I was like, that is one thing for me of just being thankful for
Yes.
food.
Amazing.
In whatever, like, sometimes it's a grilled cheese, because, guys, I don't want to put you off, but I can make a mean grilled cheese, just saying.
A well-placed
cheese
grilled
is
cheese will
Yeah.
go a long way.
But it is a thing of just like, man, like this, I want to be thankful
Yes.
Yeah.
for it. And that also for me just seemed to like change something
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
okay, this is not a 5-course meal, but actually like I'm grateful for my grilled cheese.
Yeah. It was also
Love
something I
cheese.
found that really helped me was that like savoring each bite and being like biting and being like, oh, I can taste I don't know. No, I'm being serious.
I'm not one,
like
I can taste no, I'm not sure what I'm tasting.
no, but like enjoying,
Yeah.
like this sounds going to sound weird, but like the mouthfeel,
Yes, of
like
course.
you're breaking into like a crunchy crouton in your salad or
Yeah.
Sorry
Oh,
if
you
that
know,
sounded
you know,
noisy. I know
that
some
you can
people
only
this
do by
morning.
yourself.
yeah, and actually just like being like, and it's the same. It's about that heart of gratitude when you come to the table.
Amazing. Well, guys, thanks so much. This has been so fun.
Pleasure.
There's been some funny comments and everything of everyone jumping on as well. So it's cool to kind of hear what you guys are doing. But I think now we are going to head over to Jan-Ben and Luigi.
I think
for
it's
tonight.
Mario and Jan Braai.
Oh, that's it. Mario and Jan Braai.
Mario
Jan
and Jan Braai. And we've got a chip challenge
Oh, it's
for
a
our
challenge.
two guests.
Oh.
So you guys are going to have to get your face masks,
Ooh,
not to cover your mouth this
to
time.
cover your eyes.
To cover your eyes. But yeah, let's head on over to
Let's see what Jan Braai and them are
Luigi's
doing.
kitchen and see what they've got.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, we have an interesting game called for you, just to correct Kevin there. It's called What the Chip. So if our guests can head on over, the game works as follows. You are going to be blindfolded, and we have 3 sets of chips here that you have to guess from which restaurant they are. So as soon as our lovely guests can make their way over, we'll start the game. There we go.
I don't know how to do this. I feel like Uncle Cyril should tell me how to put a mask on.
Exactly what he did on the TV. That's what you got.
That's basically what you want to do.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Do a cover now.
Got weird shaped ears.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, you can just step a bit forward.
You guys can step a bit forward.
And then let's reveal the chips. And then, so there's 3, so just a bit more to the front. There we go. And maybe before we start, I think it's important to sanitize. So
Just
you
don't
can hold
sanitize
that.
the chips.
Yeah,
please
sorry.
don't.
Yeah, there we go.
Get involved.
Yeah, there we go. It's important. Always sanitize, guys.
Safety first.
Yes.
All right,
like
so
it.
we've got 3 different types of chips here, or should I say from 3 different restaurants.
Okay.
Sean, we're going to give you the opportunity to go first.
They are chips.
Ladies always go first, but when it comes to food, you know how it goes. All right, so there's 3 different types. I'm going to put one in front of you. You can go ahead and use texture, taste, smell. I don't know.
Crunch.
You kind of get
No, there's
smell.
no
Crunch.
Yeah, crunch.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
These are chips, right?
They definitely. There might be a cockroach or 2 in there, but mostly chips.
We see that Isnell has kind of like hazied everyone's view of like what they're eating, but we promise this is clean, this is fresh.
Okay, and we'll only say
Zero
if you
trust
correct
levels.
after both of you have tasted.
Yeah.
Okay,
Describe to
Caitlin?
the viewers. There you go. You got it.
So we'll give you a few seconds to
Oh, I know.
simmer on that. Caitlin's got an unfair advantage here for sure.
I think
Can
so
I eat
too.
another one? Because I'm not sure.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's
All
what
the
we have to get.
Cool. Sean, let's give you a go. What do you think?
I'm gonna take a shot at the dark because I don't eat carbs, you know.
I can see that you're just lean and mean.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, RJ, are you saying I'm not lean and mean?
That's not what I was saying. But if you go,
Yeah, just drop it, dude.
No right answer.
I think it is KFC.
okay, maybe.
Let's hear what Caitlin has to say.
Caitlin's
It's
definitely had enough
steers.
chance.
Sure, she seems pretty
Yes.
confident, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Definitely steers. Well done, Caitlin.
Ah,
All right.
well done.
Cool.
We'll go with the second
Ben,
one, and then we'll start on this side. So, Caitlin, you get the opportunity to go first. If the plate is in front of you, you are welcome to. And describe to the viewers, what are you
Yeah, really
sensing?
talk about
Can you
that
feel the
smell.
passion in
So
the
I'm
food?
trying to like feel the size.
That's
So
great,
if it's like
yeah.
thick or thin.
I mean, all important questions to ask when considering what chips you're eating.
And I mean, I
Definitely
know
that.
they've been like microwaved, so they're not going to be the same crispiness.
I mean, such a good observation. But yes, you are right. They have been microwaved.
Okay.
Let's give.
Let's give Sean a gap there. There you go.
Ooh, these feel a bit more crispy than the other one.
No cockroach in these.
Interesting.
I can feel the cut is a bit different as well. It's got pointy
There's a napkin.
edges.
A
instead
lot
of
more
straight.
precision in the cut,
Yeah.
for sure.
I like the observations. Very technical, very specific. Top quality show SNL, guys.
If you look, yeah, it is quite a little bit thinner as well. Oh gosh, I can't smell it.
Might be because the mask. I mean, all of that.
Yeah. That's why you've got to lift it up so you can use all your senses.
No, but then I'll see it.
So what are you
But-
getting? What are you getting? What texture
No,
are you getting there?
they're a little bit drier though. They're not as fluffy on the inside.
Okay. Good observation, yeah.
Really
The-
going
the
into
spices,
detail.
The spices are definitely not the same. There's a little less spice as well, so it's more potato-y, if I can put it that way.
Yeah. More natural.
Sure.
More natural.
Natural.
So let's
You know
cut
what?
it. Where do you think?
I think I've tasted this before.
All right. Okay.
I think my daughters might have liked it. Maybe it's KFC.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that maybe this is the one that tasted more like KFC than the previous one.
Oh, so this is more KFC than
More
the previous
KFC.
KFC.
I think so, yeah.
Is this one of those where you just say the same answer?
And that's it. You're gonna get it right
Eventually it's
somehow.
going to get right.
Yeah.
Caitlin?
So it's either Nando's or KFC,
Sure.
but I think I'm going to go with KFC.
So I believe you can give the
Yeah,
answer.
no. So that would indeed be Burger King. So unfortunately,
What?
you guys
Yeah,
got
But
it
Burger
wrong.
no, the Burger
No
King are
way.
like double fried and they have like more crunch.
Yeah, this
Sure.
was the Burger King.
Guys, I eat chips.
I'm not going to say which one. It might throw their name down the drain.
But now you see, I don't. Yeah.
All right, Caitlin, you can go
It
again.
is right there in front of you.
You
got
are
it.
leading 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Let's
No
hear.
way.
What do you think? Where's this? Where are these
What are you
chips
getting?
from?
Don't I get a point just for describing?
I mean, it was a very thorough analysis, if I'm being honest. So I mean, I've definitely never described chips in such detail.
I think Caitlin's
Oh,
taking the,
okay.
the
where
volume
these ones are
a
from
bit
now.
seriously.
You know,
Okay.
The volume?
Yeah, the amount of
Oh,
chips.
yeah.
So let's hear. Sean, what do you think? Let's give it a taste.
these ones are long. No.
I think let's limit this to
Yeah,
like
okay,
let's give you
sorry.
one comment and then we'll get to the answer.
These are definitely square.
Yeah, they are more
They're
square. Sure.
square.
These are precision
They're
cut.
yeah, but they're not as crispy as the previous one.
Those are really rubbery. They haven't broken yet.
Yeah, you can check how it's quite
How
flowy.
are you checking? I thought you were blindfolded.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
Okay.
It's all in the field.
It's all in the feel.
Don't they say food is made with like passion and how you feel about it, or is that art? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing.
Caitlin will know.
It's both, but not really. I don't think there's like an art in chips unless you're doing like Heston Blumenthal's like thrice cooked.
Triple, yeah.
Yeah, triple cooked, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Sean, what have you got there? What do you
Yeah, this is. When did you buy this, dude?
Yesterday.
Sure, so I'll answer that this afternoon, right before I came. So they're as fresh as they're gonna get.
Then they're definitely KFC.
Yeah,
Okay.
I concur.
Nah, I think that. Where's more?
So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
It's finished.
all three
Yeah.
of Sean's answers was KFC. So, but yes, you are right. It is
I
KFC.
knew I'd get one right.
Well done,
We'll
guys.
give, we'll give you a point there, so it's 1-1. We'll have to figure out a cockroach game or something next
No.
week.
So they've got
Tiebreaker.
1-2. She got KFC as well. So Caitlin is our winner for tonight. Well done.
Thank you. Can I take this off now?
You can. Guys, thanks so much for being great sports. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. You're welcome to Caitlin.
You're welcome to take the chips, guys.
I'm good, thank you, though.
No, I need to keep my shape.
All right, fair enough. So, guys,
Cool, thanks, guys.
thanks. Next, what is happening next?
So next up, I believe we have Kevin and Kelsey. Kevin's going to be taking us through a teaching on fasting. He says it's not your traditional teaching that you used to. But I'm excited to hear what he's got to say, because this is definitely something I think somebody alluded to in the comments as well, that fasting is such a critical spiritual discipline
yeah.
that, among others, doesn't get done like it used to. So I'm excited to hear what he's got to say.
Definitely, and especially with First Wednesday coming up, very excited to hear what Kevin has to say on fasting. Over to you, Kevin.
So I don't know that the teaching is going to be much different to any other fasting teaching. And I wouldn't really call it a teaching. We've got First Wednesday coming up this week, Wednesday. And as a community, we're going to be fasting.
Yeah.
And I thought it would just be really helpful to look at what fasting is and what it might not be. So fasting is not starving yourself for a whole day in the hope that your meal tastes better that evening. But we read in Daniel and in Joel that they both sought the Lord. So they wanted to seek the Lord, and how they did it was through prayer and fasting. And then the argument might be, well, that's Old Testament.
Yeah.
Then I see, and we read about the apostles wanting to seek the Lord on behalf of kind of the church or the early church, and they did the same thing. They sought the Lord through prayer and fasting. And then we see Jesus' teaching on fasting is, and the one example he uses is putting new wine into a new wineskin and not putting new wine into an old wineskin. So what happens with an old wineskin is it gets quite hard, and when you pour new wine in, it fills out but then bursts, because it was made of animal skins and things like that. So it would get all like crusty and then burst.
That sounds gross.
Yes. And so the spiritual discipline of fasting is for us to create space for God to speak, for God to plant new seeds. And as we create space in our life with putting off the social media, as we put off eating food, it's a physical reminder of us creating space so that God can speak into it.
Okay.
And as God begins to speak, one word from him can change the direction of our lives.
So
So now we're talking individually. So now I put in a rhythm of fasting once a month. And that might coincide with when the church does it.
Yeah.
But how much better is if we as a community
Do it together.
could create that rhythm. Now as a community, we're saying we together, and God commands a blessing when we are in unity, and we say, we as a church are going to create space. And you don't have to be in Gauteng, and you don't have to have been to one of the Urban Life buildings to do this or to be with us on this. And we say, we're going to create space for God to fill it so that our direction and the direction of others will change.
So basically what you're saying is like our focus shouldn't be on the fact that we're not going to eat food or not going to drink this or not going to go on social media, but actually our focus should be on like connecting with God in a new way, like seeking him out.
Every time your tummy grumbles,
which happens for me a lot.
A lot, yeah. So when your tummy grumbles, all you're going to do is, that's a physical reminder of what I'm doing. It's I am creating space for God to speak, for God to fill with his new. And it might be a new idea, it might be a new business, it might be a new word, it might be something that you've never thought of. And you try and put that new into the busyness of our lives when we haven't created the space for God to move. Honestly, I think it could burst our lives. And we may never recover. God could put a glorious new thing for us in our lives. And we could just, because of the busyness, catch it like half-heartedly, or we didn't remember to write it down, and then we were like, what is that thing? And we could just veer slightly off. And God is gracious, and he is merciful, and he'll bring us back. And I think this week, Wednesday, it's like pivotal. So August is probably my least favorite month in the year ever. And the reason is it's still cold, and in Gauteng the wind blows
windy.
non-stop, and there's dust everywhere, and you've got to sweep your house 3 times a day and all of that nonsense. But I know what the wind is for. It blows the seeds off the trees or that have or been lying on the ground. It blows the seeds, and those seeds then get planted elsewhere. And this week, Wednesday, we as a community get to fast together and allow God's wind to blow his seed into our lives.
That's so good.
And I'm looking forward to what comes after the fast, and what new things God has put into our community, and where we go from there.
Yeah, and we get to do it together, which I think is amazing, because sometimes, you could be, okay, God, like I'm trusting you for a word or something, and but like, hey, I'm going to talk to my community and go, guys, actually, like I'm fasting because I have a sense that there's something new or whatever it could be. And then we get to actually do it together.
Totally.
So it's not like we're alone. And I think also just that it is something you want to try and make a rhythm of.
Yep.
So it's also not, okay, we're just fasting for first Wednesday, but actually like we want to make a rhythm of it so that we're continuously making space, for God to move and for him to speak, and actually saying, okay, we can draw closer through this.
So Kev's top tips for fasting. This is not, what's that fasting called where you're like intermittent fasting. That's not this. This is not a diet like fad. What it is pick a meal the night before, the day before. Don't go shopping when you're fasting. That's just torture.
The worst decision.
So buy it the day before and have an easy meal to prep the night that you break in the fast. Top tips are also put your cell phone down. Use it for phone calls and emergency SMSs or texts or WhatsApps or whatever you use it for. Try to stay off social media, because that just distracts you from what we're actually doing.
Yeah, that's good.
And the other thing is if you know you're not going to make it through the day, then eat breakfast and then skip lunch. Or I know that some people have to eat during the day.
Yeah.
So then just put off the nice things that you would normally eat. So Sean, stay away from the chocolates. You won't get those pimples, but also, it's about denying ourselves in order to create space for God to move. And so that's what you want to do, is really put down the social media, turn off the TV,
free, like intentionally.
Yeah, and put down that chocolate, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, bro.
And if someone hasn't fasted before, I mean, they're invited to fast with us.
Holy moly,
a whole new journey.
I'd actually love to hear your story.
Yeah, if you haven't.
If you've never fasted and you fast for the first time, I'd love to hear your experience of the day, but then in the weeks and months to come after, I'd love to see the outcome and the change of life there.
Yeah, it would be really cool for us to share the stories that come out of First Wednesday and fasting together. But we have an amazing First Wednesday actually planned. It's going to be really, really cool. Off the bat, just so you know, you can head to urbanlife.org.za/drive-through, because we are going to do a drive-through coffee and communion again.
It was so much fun last month.
So much fun. From 4:30 to 6 p.m. And we have 2 locations, so you can go to the one that's closest to you, one in Centurion and one in Midrand. Come through. We're going to have communion and we're going to pray. It was really such an amazing experience for me the last time. Like I could tangibly feel the presence of God. You could almost feel that something was changing as people drove in. There was just joy, this incredible joy. It felt like it almost was like, hey, this heaviness is lifting.
Yeah.
And that for me was just,
it was amazing
to be a part of. So you're invited. It is going to be so much fun this coming Wednesday.
From 4:30. Remember, we have 2 locations, so whichever one is closest to you, we are trying to make it convenient for you to come out, have coffee, communion, and some community, which means prayer. There will be people like eagerly waiting to pray for you and with you. And obviously, we'll be wearing all the gear and we'll
all
pray.
Safety precautions are being taken.
We'll pray in a haze of sanitizer.
Yeah.
And that's coming up on Wednesday. And I think we actually have a video for that.
Yeah, we do. But
Amazing. Oh, whoa.
before we go
Let's-
to the video, let's not forget that Grow is still happening.
Grow still happens.
At 7 p.m., Discovering Jesus on every page. If you haven't yet, you can catch up on demand. It's really incredible. As we've gone through Genesis, I sit almost like every Wednesday, I'm like, my mind is blown. Like, how we are discovering Jesus on every page. Like, it
and
just...
it's there every page.
And every time it's just incredible. And we have amazing teachers at Urban Life.
Yeah, we do.
It is easy to follow. It is almost like I just sit and I'm like, wow, how blessed are we to be able to sit under this kind of teaching, which is
amazing.
incredible. And then the last thing is that from next week, we are starting a new series.
We are.
On Sunday Night Live. And it's going to be really fun. It is called #Asking for a Friend. And we're going to look at relationships. We're going to look at dating.
Marriage.
What comes after
Sex.
marriage? Yeah, there we go.
Kids.
Yeah, marriage, having kids, and then,
yeah. And then maybe we'll get some adults with grown-up children.
I was like, are you not an adult, Kev? Are you trying to like...
I don't
we'll
see
get the
myself as an
adults to
adult.
talk about
No,
this?
let's talk to my wife about whether I'm an adult or not. But
No,
anyway, we're going to be looking
yeah.
at every aspect we can possibly think about around relationships, not forgetting single or being single.
Yeah.
Because you still have relationships.
What? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, just not romantic
looks different,
relationships.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
that's coming up next week on Sunday Night Live.
Yeah, and it's called #Asking for a Friend because oftentimes we have a lot of questions.
And we want your questions.
Yeah, we
and
want
you
to
can
know.
really just preface that with a #asking for a friend.
We don't have to know it from you.
It can be anonymous. Totally anonymous.
Yeah, but I think we want to answer those questions. We want to start the conversation in a safe environment. And we want to see what maybe you're wondering that nobody's actually told you.
Absolutely.
About like marriage or dating, sex, whatever it might be. I think it's going to be really good.
It's going to be so good. Let's watch that video of
Okay,
First
let's do
Wednesdays.
it. Thanks so much for tuning in to SNL. We are so excited to see you on Wednesday, 4:30 to 6 p.m. 2 locations. It's going to be fun. Check it out.
Amazing.
We are connecting again to celebrate communion. As we already set aside the first Wednesday of the month to fast and pray, we will be connecting between 4:30 and 6 p.m. in 2 drive-through locations to make it easy for everyone to come have a coffee, share communion, and receive prayer. Check out our website for locations.